Hello Milky fans, Milk still here with you for another Idle Heroes video. This is the first video in my masterclass series where I, as Milkstool, a player of Idle Heroes for how long now? 2.5 years? Coming up to 3 maybe? I actually don't know when I started playing this game, but it's been at least 2 years because I've been through how many anniversaries? We've had Amun Ra in one anniversary, and then this year we had another one. I'm gonna say 2.5 years because I'm old and I don't remember anything. But in this masterclass series, which is going to be different from my beginner series videos, which no one really watched at the start, I'm going to share with you my pearls of wisdom for this game, for early game players, mid game players, and late game players. A lot of my content is mainly geared towards mid to late game players, simply because it was so long ago when I started, and things have changed so much since I started that it's hard to keep the advice current. I've had to start again a couple of times just to build up my bond accounts. And a lot of you are like, what the hell are bond accounts? And I'll get into that in my masterclass. But really, I'm going to go through each of the different elements in this game in my masterclass. And there'll be like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 masterclasses. I haven't decided. But in this first masterclass, what I'd like to do is take you through 4 things. I'm going to go through bag space and how to manage it. I'm going to talk about resource acquisition and what you should be doing there and what to look out for. I'm going to talk about guild and what you should be looking out for when you're either joining a guild or maybe creating guild. And then following on from that, why, not why, but what you should focus on when it comes to guild tech. The other masterclasses later on, you can see the content or the agenda further on. The next masterclass will be on heroes, lineups, and hero management. And you can see here I already have some wording. Don't try and read the wording. I mean, the notes for this masterclass will be available in the link in the description below. So you don't have to squint your eyes. You can open the notes up right now if you want to and follow along and make annotations along the way. And certainly I would encourage you to do that. But yeah, the next video, I'm going to be talking about hero lineup. And then further videos, I'm going to talk about pets, the PvP events and what to do there, as well as PvE events and things to buy. So I'm basically going to cover all facets of this game, and I'm going to talk about what you should be focusing on and what you should do as an early game player, as a mid game player, and an end game player. And so to kick things off, let's start with defining what I mean by early game, mid game, and end game, because everyone sort of uses those terms innocuously without actually comprehending what it means or setting clear delineations on each phase of the game. So I'm going to have a shot at what that means. Early game to me means you have 1 or 2 E5 heroes or less. You are on your journey, your Idols hero's journey, and you're trying to basically create your first E5 hero. And when you do create that first E5 hero, it's going to feel amazing because it's so hard and takes so many resources. I remember when I first started this game, the highest level you could get to was E3. And so when they introduced E5, that was a big deal. But this was the limit. The ultimate was having an E3 Valkyrie, which was the must-have hero at the time. Now Valkyrie is neither here or there, but Valkyrie is still a powerful hero. But leaving that aside, early game, it's very much about creating your first viable E5 hero. Mid game then, so what's mid game? Mid game is basically sandwiched between end game and early game. So then, for me, if we talk about end game, because mid game's kind of like that grey space in between. For me, end game is basically when you have 12 E5 heroes. And you might ask, well, 12, that's a very specific number. Why did you say 12? 12 is basically enough for Trial of the Champions. Because Trial of the Champions, you basically need up to 12 E5 heroes. Beyond that, any more heroes, I would say, are kind of redundant, especially when you look at what you get in return for having that many heroes, right? So the rewards are still quite substantial for Trial of the Champion. I would argue the rewards you get for Trial of the Champions are much more substantial than Crystal Crown League. And the end game for most players, I would argue, is to have a really strong Trial of the Champions team. And that means 12 E5 heroes. Free Team Up Arena, you only need 6. It's your normal 6 E5 hero lineup. Interdimensional Arena, theoretically, you would need up to 30 E5 heroes if you want to completely dominate. No one's ever going to get there. The reality is, if you look at the person on top, overall rankings, can we see the lineups? Not even these guys. The person at the top right now has 30 E5 heroes. Here, it actually doesn't matter. This is more about burning through tickets to get to the very top. So that's why for me, endgame is about having 12 E5 heroes. That's just 2 complete lineups that you can field in Crystal Crown League, in Arena, in Free Team Up Arena, and it gives you enough flexibility to play around and switch between heroes between different lineups, and also do a bit of PvE as well. So that's what, to me, end game is. Mid game, like I said, it's somewhere between early game and end game. So 2 E5 heroes and 12 E5 heroes. So with that in mind, let's get into the lesson. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is bag space, because it's a pretty big deal. When you start out in this game, you actually don't have a lot of bag space. Right now, so if you look at my bag space, I've had 505 slots. The only real way to increase your bag space, well, the 3 ways to increase your bag space, right? One is to spend gems on it, which I think is a terrible idea. The other way is to obviously get to a higher VIP level, and if you're free to play, it's going to be a challenge, right? Because then there's really only one other way you can get bag space, and that's in Celestial Island through not cracking. I was just doing a petrochemical piece. Through basically using the furnace, sacrificing the Celestial Island stones, and getting these space gems. But I would argue that's a poor use of these Celestial Island stones that you might get. But you have no other choice if you're free to play. So if we go to my early account, you'll see that I have basically no bag space. This is a free to play account. I have 100 slots, which should be more than enough. But you can see that if you want to increase slots, you can either spend gems, and the cost of an extra 5 slots goes up in terms of how much the gem cost as you add more and more slots. So then, if you're trying to save your stones, your Celestial Island stones, if you're trying to save your gems, then the only other thing you can do is bag space management. So what do I mean by bag space management? Well, the thing about idle heroes is there are 1-star heroes, 2-star heroes, 3-star heroes, 4-star heroes, 5-star heroes, and beyond 5-star heroes. Very early on in this game, or just throughout the entire game, there is absolutely no use for 1-star and 2-star heroes. They are completely useless. They are redundant. I don't know why they have them. Maybe very, very early on when they first started this game, they were kind of useful. And admittedly, if you don't have 5-6 heroes in your early game, like your very, very early game, like when you first start this game, those heroes might come in handy just to fill the space and do a little bit of damage. But the reality is, you're going to get 5-star heroes, even though they might not be the best, pretty darn quickly. So that makes 1 and 2-star heroes very redundant early on. And so you should absolutely alter those heroes anytime you get them. And instantly, your bag space just frees up a little, just like that. The other thing you can do to maintain your bag space is to basically, and this is a poor example, but if I go back to my other account, is to basically not use shards, hero shards, until you absolutely need them. Because heroes in shard form is effectively an extension of your bag, right? So if we go here, and you go to my bag, and you go here, you can see I have a lot of 4-star shards, which I can open up now. But if I do, it's going to eat up 213 slots in my bag. So it's going to be, I'm going to be basically over the limit. And there's no advantage whatsoever in opening up all these shards right now until I absolutely need them, right? And that's why you see most people keep nearly all the heroes in shard form until they have enough copies to summon them out and to build them straight off the bat, right? So those are the two big bag tips that I'm going to get, and that everyone over time just understands and starts to basically practice, best practice. And so that advice for bag space basically carries throughout mid game and end game as well. Alter anything less than 3 stars. Don't open shards in your bag until you absolutely need them. So that's the video for today. I probably shouldn't go into resource acquisition. I think that's going to take another 10-20 minutes. And I don't want to make each one of these masterclasses too long. Recognize that people have short attention spans on YouTube. But in the next class, we're going to go over resource acquisition and specifically what to do in campaign and what to do on Celestial Island when you're early game, mid game, and late game. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and any girls out there. I will see you at the next masterclass.